As gardeners, one of our biggest kicks is being able to grow plants that actually shouldn't grow where we live. South Africa is so huge and diverse, from winter rainfall to summer rainfall to areas that get severe frost. And frost is what we want to talk about today. How do we protect the plants that are soft and tender to that to make sure that they can make it through the winter and into spring to still be there and still be able to flourish? Today I'm going to share with you 4 points that you need to have a look at, take care of them, use them in your garden to make sure that your plants are going to see it through the cold winter. The first point, which is probably the most important, is to use plant guard, which is known as frost cover. Now, frost cover has been around for many years. And in fact, if you've never used it and you have lost plants in winter, then we're about to change your life. So all it is, it's really simple to use. Pop it out the packaging. It can be reused year and year again if you look after it properly. And by that, I mean just making sure that once you've finished using it, fold it up, pack it away where you'll remember where it is until the beginning of next winter. So this is what frost protection cover looks like. It's a very fine, thinly woven material. It's almost got a candy floss-like appearance. This comes in a 3 meter by 10 meter roll, which can then be cut up into smaller sections. Frost Guard is quite a unique product. The fact that you can place it over plants and the plants are still able to photosynthesize. So you can leave it on the entire winter. Yes, the plants will grow and you can still water them as normally around the base and they will continue to be happy. The point is that when you put this over it, it forms a little microclimate, keeping the warmth inside, the cold on the outside, and also keeping important moisture on the inside of the plant. So it really is great, from wrapping up standards to putting it over frost tender plants, entire beds, or even 1 or 2 veggies, those special ones that you've got growing in the garden. A quick tip on how to keep your frost protection or frost guard in place is to take 20 to 25 centimeter lengths of soft wire, bend it over to form a U shape, and then simply pierce it through the frost protection directly into the soil. Well guys, the frost guard is now on, and I know that this beautiful little plant, my Solenostemon, or also known as Coleus, is going to be snug as a bug in a rug. Even with the strongest winds, this frost guard will be secure. Remember, at the end of winter, when there are no signs and no dangers of frost, you are quite happy to remove this, fold it up and store it away in a safe place. If your plants have been hit by frost and you come out and a couple of days later, this is the damage that you will see. The leaves will almost look burnt. They will take on a yellowing appearance. Some of them will even become quite crunchy. Please, whatever you do, do not try and remedy it. Do not try and prune the plant back into some form of health. Rather, leave it, because in a couple of days' time, you could get more frost damage. So my advice, leave the plant, wait until things warm up, until spring arrives, then you can do your pruning remedy, feed the plant, and allow it to continue. The second tip on how to avoid Jack Frost getting hold of your garden and your plants is to plant those susceptible plants into containers. There's no reason why you can't have lettuce in winter if you're planting them in terracotta pots or raising them off the ground. So either take the plants, have them in smaller pots, put them up onto a table, onto a windowsill, close to the courtyard, where the warmth of the house actually helps to protect the plants. And likewise, here in the veggie garden, anything can still be grown as long as it's in containers, off the ground, away from the cold. Your third tip on protecting your plants against frost is by using mulch. We know that mulch comes in many different forms, from bark nuggets like this, to your own homemade compost, to lawn clippings, to even leaf mulch. Place it around the plants, because when doing that, what you're doing is you are going to be creating a beautiful little layer, which is almost going to act like an electric blanket, trapping the heat into the soil and preventing the cold from getting into the plants. This layer of mulch will prove indispensable in a lot of your soft, tender plants. For frost tender perennials such as begonias, whether they are the bedding plant form or one such as dragon wings. For impatiens, whether it's sun patients or the New Guinea impatiens, a good way to protect them is to prune them back, cover them with mulch, just so that their little stems are just peeking out. They'll stay snug like that throughout the winter. As spring arrives and temperatures warm up, open up the bark mulch and away they come again. Your fourth tip on frost protection is watering. Rather water your garden early in the morning so that the water can get absorbed into the garden beds, into the soil, so that by the time sunset arrives, the water is settled. In fact, watering late in the afternoon before we have a cold evening can generally cause a lot of damage, especially if you're using too much water. If you have had frost and you wake up early in the morning, the sun is simply rising and you see the frost on the plants, then water your garden and simply melt away the frost. And that helps reduce the damage that it's going to cause on the plants. Remember, by having water around the plant, in other words, by watering your plants early in the morning, actually forms a little insulating layer. The water actually protects the plants. That's why it's important to pay attention to how much and when you're watering. Well, there are 4 tips of how to keep Jack Frost at bay. Remember, everything that I've used is available either in-store or online. Remember to visit the blog where you can see great articles and cool DIY videos to turn you into a green-fingered guru. Get to Builders and get it done.